I don't make too many videos critiquing or reviewing TV shows or movies. However, I want to make a video here about The Chosen because The Chosen is so popular among millions of Christians. I assume that there are some people who are not Christians who also watch it and enjoy it. I'm a huge fan of The Chosen. I am so glad that we have this series that dramatizes the life of Jesus and the disciples. I don't mind the creative liberty that the show takes because that just helps enhance what we have in the Bible. All of the fictionalized scenes and conversations just really help develop the personalities of Andrew, Peter, Matthew, Thomas, Jesus, and so forth. So obviously the Bible is our main source, but The Chosen really enhances that for us in many ways. So I really enjoyed season 1 and 2 and 3, and then I bought the 4th season. I still prefer physical media. I bought the 4th season and I was all into it until one episode. And if you're a fan of The Chosen and season 4 is still fresh in your memory, I think you know where I'm going with this. They have Thomas, the Apostle Thomas, who was also doubting Thomas, engaged to Rhema. Earlier in the series, Thomas had promised Rhema's father that he would look out for Rhema and protect her and keep her safe. So that goes south. There's a scene where Jesus is arguing with people in a crowd, and really his words incite a mob mentality in this crowd. And the disciples get Jesus out of there, and Thomas is leading his wife or his fiance, Rhema, through the crowd, and a very prominent Roman official, centurion, inadvertently stabs Rhema. By the way, that's all very contrived. It didn't make any sense why this Roman official drew his sword and stabbed her, of all people. It didn't make any sense. But anyway, the Roman official acts like he's taken aback and shocked at his own actions. And he gets chastised and demoted later on. So Thomas is there with his wife, or I keep saying wife, fiance Rhema, and she's stabbed. She falls to the ground. Thomas cries out, and Mary Magdalene cries out. Mary Magdalene is shouting, "Help! Somebody help!" She's shrieking the word help. And they show Jesus somewhere off, and he hears the cries for help, and he comes back. Now, at this point, if you're like me and you've watched this, I was thinking, okay, here comes the Calvary. It's going to be okay. Here comes Jesus. It's going to be a miracle story that's not in the Bible, but still a healing miracle. Jesus arrives. He stops walking up to her. He stands at about 10, 12 feet away. Thomas is there with her saying, "Hold on, please, Rhema, don't die. It's going to be okay. Hold on, Rhema." And Thomas turns to Jesus, and Thomas literally begs Jesus to heal Rhema. And Jesus doesn't heal Rhema. And Rhema's laying there on the ground, bleeding, dying, and she says to Thomas, "Stay with him, stay with Jesus." And she dies. And the only thing Jesus says is, "It's not her time." What does that mean? And I was just shocked, and I was so disappointed. I mean, I was heartbroken. I began watching this after Halloween season, and I was looking forward to really enjoying season 4, and I was just absolutely heartbroken. If you're a fan of The Chosen and you've watched the 4th season and you know of this episode where Rama is killed, what do you think? I hated it. I just absolutely hated it. And a lot of people feel the same way. There are conversations on Reddit and YouTube everywhere about this, and I was just floored. And Thomas is begging Jesus to do something to resurrect her, and he does nothing. And that did not set right at all with me. That made no sense whatsoever. That does not ring true at all with Jesus. Now, I know this is the chosen Jesus, not the real Jesus. But if you're a fan, don't we watch The Chosen because it's supposed to at least somewhat resemble the actual Jesus and the actual disciples? Of course, there's creative liberty taken in many episodes. Of course, there are characters that are not in the Bible. I understand that Rama is not in the Bible. Before you hit the reply button and begin to give your reply, I know Rama is not in the Bible. I know Thomas's fiance or girlfriend or wife is not in the Bible. Doesn't matter. Certainly you know what it means to be upset about a fictional character dying, am I right? Certainly you have been upset or cried when somebody fictional in a book or movie or TV show died. Am I right? So please don't say, well, Rama's not a real character, it's fictionalized. Or, sometimes God doesn't heal. I think that's what Dallas Jenkins and the makers of the show were going for. That sometimes God doesn't heal. I mean, in your life and my life, you pray and you pray for someone to be healed and they're not healed. Also, I think that this was their way of showing why Thomas becomes doubting Thomas. But this does not work at all for me. It makes more sense that Thomas is simply a natural skeptic. So I was just completely disappointed in that scene. It felt like a kick to the solar plex. What do you think? And I'm just totally not wanting to continue on with The Chosen. I'm like, if you're going to show Jesus doing that, what else wrong are you going to get? Because nowhere in the Bible do we ever see Jesus standing near somebody who is sick or dying or dead, and he does nothing. Not once. The woman with the issue of blood comes up behind him and gets her healing without him even knowing who she is. He's like, who touched me? And that scene is done very well in The Chosen. Most of the scenes in seasons 1, 2, and 3 are done very well. And the fictionalized conversations and the fictionalized scenes simply enhance what's already there in the 4 Gospels in the Bible. This did not. To have Jesus standing there watching her die and doing nothing, that did not ring true whatsoever to the biblical Jesus, the Jesus that we all know and love. When did he ever stand there and watch someone die and do nothing? And he didn't even walk up and talk to her before she died. She gave her life to be with Jesus and Thomas. And her last words were to Thomas, stay with him, stay with Jesus. She's loyal to Jesus to the very last seconds of her life. And Jesus not only doesn't heal her, doesn't resurrect her, but he stands from afar He does not even walk over and bend down where Thomas is and talk to her. I don't mean last rites. I mean something, some kind of blessing or love or something. But no, Jesus stands apart from her. That is not Jesus. I'm telling you right now, that is not Jesus. The Bible says the Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. That's like Psalm 118, I believe. I love that verse. He heals the brokenhearted, binds up their wounds. I understand that in our lives, sometimes you pray for someone to be healed, even yourself, and it doesn't happen. But there was never a time in the Bible in which Jesus was in close physical proximity to somebody who was dying, and he did nothing. There's one story where he's walking by and there's a funeral procession. And it's like he doesn't even know who it is. The mother, the family, he doesn't know them. They're not his friends. But they're not Martha and Mary and Lazarus. They're not his personal friends. And yet it says he stops the funeral procession. This is in the Bible. And he resurrects the son. Yay, resurrection. He just did this because, why? Because he happened to be there. He didn't even know the boy who was dead or the mother, according to what I read in the scripture. And the leper, in the Bible, it says that the leper walks up to Jesus and says, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. And there's no indication that Jesus knows this guy. Like, yeah, I remember you. No. Jesus simply says, I am willing, be clean. And it says that Jesus touched the leper, which was a no-no in the law of Moses. In Leviticus, you were not supposed to touch somebody who was unclean. And yet he did. Jesus could have healed the leper with simply a word. And yet he touched them, which must have been radical and scandalous for those who were there, who witnessed this and were very versed in the law of Moses. So this does not ring true for me. I am deeply disappointed that I cannot continue watching this. And then like the next episode, it has Jesus and the disciples, they're bringing the body of Ramah, and the father comes and stops them. And the father of Ramah scolds Thomas. Well, you know what? I'm on the father's side. I agreed. And the father says to Jesus, I curse you. I curse your followers. I'm going to tell everyone that I can that you're a liar and deceiver. I'm sorry, man. I got to agree with that guy. His daughter gave her life to be perhaps not an official disciple, but to travel around with the disciples, and she gets stabbed. And when Jesus comes, he does not walk up to her. Obviously, he didn't heal her, or when she died, he didn't resurrect her, but he didn't even walk up to her and kneel down and talk to her and say something. Say something. Say something to this woman who devoted her time and her energy and her heart to Jesus. He did nothing but stand apart. Not the actor's fault. I have no problem with the cast members. This is all on the creators of the show. You have made an ex-fan. There's nothing in that scene that rings true. If Jesus would have been far off and heard the cries, and then Ramah died before Jesus got back, that would be one thing. It wasn't necessary to have Thomas's fiance Rama die, and Jesus lets her die to set up for Thomas to be doubting Thomas. It wasn't necessary. People, sometimes, a lot of people that you know and that I know are naturally skeptical of miracles. He could have been a doubting Thomas, a skeptic without this whole drama of Jesus watching Rama die like a dog in the street and doing nothing. That is not Jesus. Let me tell you, I know what it's like to pray for people who don't get healed, but I know lots of people who have called out in faith, and we didn't pray for them only. We spoke the word, we pointed our finger and commanded the person to be healed. And I've seen cancer healed and knees healed and necks healed, back pain healed, legs healed, sometimes instantly, sometimes gradually. So what do you say? What do you think? Anyway, that's my rant. I know that Rama is not a real character in the Bible. She's a fictionalized character. I know that it's only a show. I know that sometimes God doesn't heal. But what was your reaction to that scene? So I would like to say that I will watch The Chosen all the way through, but I won't. But I am looking very much forward to Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ sequel. Passion of the Christ, still my favorite version of Jesus. So thank you for watching, and God bless. And just know that Jesus is not going to stand far off from you. He may feel like he's far off. He's not far off. He's not standing afar from you, watching you suffer. He's right there with you. He's a man of sorrows, fully acquainted with our grief. He suffers right along with you. And when you rise up in faith, you can move mountains with your faith. And you can see miracles in your life. So, thanks for watching. God bless.